This is how it's gonna be. This is what you think of me. It's going down like I told you. This is how it's gonna be. I'll be the last man standing here. I'm not going anywhere. It's going down like I told you. I'll be the last man standing here. I'm gonna rock you. I'm gonna rock you. I'm gonna rock you. I'll have you begging for mercy, begging for mercy. Oh, I'm dangerous. So dangerous.
Hello, Body Slams podcast viewers, and I am one of your analysts, as we like to call ourselves. I am Chio Frost, and you're tuning into Thursday Night Slam live at 9:05 here on the Body Slams podcast. At the top of the hour, you got to see the rundown of all of our Devereaux Sports podcast teams pretty much each day of the week, and hands down, we are knocking it out the park, especially in the Philadelphia area, and you don't want to miss out. We talk about all kinds of sports, either not just pro wrestling, football, baseball, hockey, basketball, MMA, even old school stuff too as well, even soccer. And I'd like to give a quick shout out to all of our podcast affiliates that show much love when they're on their particular podcast themselves. Let's give a shout out to the 2 days, DB Richards and Dave Keener over at the 2300 Wrestling Podcast. Anthony, Andy Header, and Brian at the Tornado Tag Podcast. Rob Williams at the Bob Culture Podcast. And let's not forget about two other ones that don't get much love on the show, but we got to keep pushing them because they are family backstabbers wrestling podcasts, and all the way from Puerto Rico, Conversación del Lucha Libre. You know, this gentleman that I have coming on the show, and I use that term very lightly, gentleman, because, you know, he's a submission specialist. He'll twist you, he'll break you, he'll grind you up until he beats you down to practically there's nothing left. You know, he's a submission super beast at best. None other than my man, longtime friend, compadre, along with a good friend of ours, Joey Image, who's not here. He's really good friends with him as well, Mr. Matt Turner.
Chio, what's up, buddy?
Hey,
good to see you.
How you doing, Stud Muffin?
Man, long time no see, buddy. I haven't seen you since a handful of months ago, back when it was sweltering summer at WXW. Now we're freezing over here.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. How's things with you, man?
Good, man. How was your holiday?
It had ups and downs, you know, and then this whole winter thing, it's like it's debacle. I don't know if it wants to snow or not in my area. But I know Jersey got hit big time, and but the wrestling world's been growing. There's a lot of great stuff going on for a lot of talent. We get to see a lot of a talent that we worked with on stuff like AEW Dark and stuff like that. Guys are out there getting their chance, even at the NWA as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
there's a certain tag team that you may or may not know that just entered their stuff in for the Crockett Cup. So
something about blue and gold.
Oh, ladies,
maybe
the first guest gets it. You don't miss a beat, brother.
No, I try not to. And on top of that, I do research a little bit, so I kind of see hidden messages in your posts on your pages. So yeah, I did see the Crockett Cup thing. I'm like, oh, okay, I see. And as soon as you mentioned it, I'm like, hey, hands down, I already know where he's going with this.
I set you up,
Uh,
brother. Hit it out of
yeah,
the park.
yeah, most definitely. And like, and you know what? It's a good thing, that that you put yourself out there, because you and
Sure.
Header been killing it for the last couple years. You know, you guys teamed up in the past before, and you guys competed against each other, but then finally, like, hey, let's work together. Because we gel pretty good, and you guys been collecting titles left and right in a lot of companies out there.
Yeah, yeah. What had happened too is it was about 5 or 6 years ago. I was kind of getting burnt out. I tried to take a little break to maybe see if maybe if I took some time off that the fire would burn, and I came back and it was like it was there, but I never felt like that before. I've always been so passionate about wrestling, and our buddy Brad Bruno, he was booking for GSW. Make a long story short, he just put me and Header together. He goes, "Well, you and Header are really good friends. I'm going to put you together for this one time." And we got done with the match, and him and John, the owner of GSW, they both came backstage and said, "Well, you guys had really good chemistry together. We were never teamed before." And we kind of looked at each other like, geez, we're talking all the time. I have more in common with him than anybody probably on the planet. So we just started really tagging from there on in. And it was just, I got back in the gym, back studying, tapes, DVDs, YouTube videos. And it really, headers, I don't know. I don't think I've given Andy enough credit. If it wasn't for him, I probably would have got out of the business 3 or 4 years ago. And now, even when I'm doing single stuff, there's some times where he's booked at singles and I'm doing some single stuff, but I feel like I can wrestle into my 50s. I just feel, I just love competing now more than I ever did. So, teaming with Andy really brought my love and passion out for wrestling.
That's what's up. That's up. I know already we're getting some shout outs, some love in the chat room here. Got some guys coming in off of Twitch. My man Alan. He has his own Storm Raiders crew Twitch page. I don't know if you play Fortnite or anything like that. He's on there. Uh our good buddy Dennis Reaper, his dad Denny, he 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 loves tuning into the shows,
Oh, awesome.
and a bunch of our other co-hosts. Mikey, he's the Better Bernard, the Saint Bernard, and the owner of Devereaux Sport. Well, one of the co-owners of Devereaux Sports, Mr. Pat Bernard, used to work as Frankie Frizzo. I think you two might have crossed paths each other
That
in
name
the
sounds
past,
familiar. You know how it is, Gio, man. You're in these locker rooms, up and down the roads. You bump into so many people,
especially
so many,
especially
so
in the
many good
Philly
brothers.
area.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of Philly, New Jersey, New York. I've been blessed enough to. You all right over there?
I just
You,
got this tickle in my throat, and
you
I've
need some
been
hot tea and honey?
dude, I've been eating soups. I just took cough medicine before I came on the air, and I got I got cough drops here sitting next to me. So from time to time, you're gonna hit me, like you're gonna hear me, but
I'll
but
still I'll,
it's,
I'll still rib
instead
you.
of a instead of us jumping all over the place, let's dig right in. Let's go back, way back, like everybody does on every damn podcast out there. Let's start from the beginning. How the hell did you get into this crazy, wacky world known as professional wrestling?
Well, I think most of everybody that's my age, they started in the backyards. And then a wrestling school opened up probably about 5 minutes away from my house. A lot of people don't know this, but I was originally trained at Backbreakers Wrestling, which is now owned by Justin Glory. I was trained by a very nice man by the name of Johnny Glitter. Very nice guy. But he was very old school. Like you really didn't learn much. Like you learned basic psychology, bumps, conditioning and lockups. And really that was pretty much just about it. But I kind of wanted to learn the new style that was going around. So at that time, Ring of Honor had started. They were only running really the Murphy Rec Center in Philly. So
Yeah.
I went to a handful of their first shows, and there was a flyer on one of the merchandise tables saying they were opening up a school, and they weren't sure who the trainer was going to be. And so I was kind of humming and hawing if I was going to go there, or I was thinking about going to Chikara. Now at the time, I lived in Old Forge, which is right next to Scranton, so about 2 hours and change away from Philly, and about an hour away from Allentown, where Chikara was training. And at that time, Chris Hero just moved from the Midwest to be the co-head trainer Mike Quackenbush. So I was really contemplating going there to learning from Hero and Quack. But I think it was a few days later I found out that CM Punk was going to be the head trainer at Ring of Honor. So that's eventually where I wound up. But I did wind up going to the Chicago Wrestle Factory a whole bunch for training seminars with Quack Hero. Oh, there it is.
And
Look
and,
at
and do
that.
you
You
do
had
you
that
have it?
ready.
If you look right here in the corner where the little red arrows, that's Turner right there in the
Yeah,
background there.
that was All Star Extravaganza 2. That was the final Punk Joe match, Punk Joe 3.
Yeah, wasn't you also trained by Joe as well?
Joe did a lot of what would happen was whenever the shows were on the East Coast, which back then they did a ton of shows on the East Coast, and Joe was their champion. So they'd be running shows more than likely on Saturday, Sunday, and then train on Monday was our training was Monday, sometimes Wednesdays, but a lot of time on Wednesdays, Punk would be in TNA, and either Thursdays or Fridays. But training was always on Mondays, so the days that I'm sorry, whenever they'd have the shows, the Ring of Honor on Saturdays, and they're in the East Coast, Joe wouldn't fly back until Tuesday or Wednesday, and he would stay at Punk's house. So he would come to training with us, and so Joe had a big hand in my training. Obviously, Punk was the main trainer there. He was there all the time. Not unless he was away. PWG. Sometimes I think one time he went to 01 and was gone. But Punk was the guy that was there 99% of the time. And then Joe, we might have had maybe we felt 15 or 20 sessions with Joe.
Now that time when you guys were coming out to the ring with Punk, that was like that Japan style of the young boys coming out in the tracksuits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as the students and stuff, just showing their support for for their mentors.
Well, that's what Punk wanted. He wanted Ring of Honor was very ran, especially the first handful of years. It was very much like a Japanese promotion. And when Punk was obviously we were his first class, he was talking to Rocky Romero a lot, who was doing some of the training at the New Japan Dojo over in LA, which I got to spend a weekend training down there as well, not too long after I graduated at Ring of Honor. But he was getting tips from Rocky about what they were doing with the Japanese training. And that's what we would do. We would come out with Punk in every one of his matches, and we would kneel, and we would do the young boy duty. We'd have the water, and we would sit there and watch. And then after
Hey,
the match, we would pick apart his brain. We'd pick his brain, ask him questions, and it was it's a great learning experience because you're literally watching a guy, one of the best wrestlers in the world,
you
and
know
one of
what,
the
Matt?
best.
I don't
But
mean to cut you off, but you know what? You will be a huge asset if I go and do what I want to do with my thoughts and plans, because I would like to incorporate that young boy style of work ethic with the new guys coming into the business. You would definitely be on my radar to come help school the young kids into like what to do, what not to do, and like I would welcome it like with open arms, hands down.
yeah, I mean, we were trained very old school. I mean, I want to say it was maybe 6 months before we were able to get in the ring. Like literally, I'd be driving 2.5 hours to Philadelphia one way, once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, and literally it would be run 4 or 5 miles, 1,000 squats, 500 push-ups, whole bunch of cardio drills, not in the ring, and then go home. And then it was probably, I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 months, I forget, something like that before we even got to get in the ring. But we were trained very, New Japan Dojo, a lot of neck bridges, All
Mm.
Japan Dojo, and even to the point where after we graduated, we were, and you see it a lot now in New Japan where they can only wear black, solid black. That was it. Basic moves, solid black. And I remember Punk said, "I'll let you guys know when you earn your colors." Wasn't too long after we graduated, Punk was gone to OVW, to get ready for WWE. And some of the Ring of Honor students I would be on shows with, and they would wear colors. Like, well, Punk's not here,
Mm.
whatever. I'm going to wear colors. And I was like, I understand now he's down, he's in Louisville. He may or may not know, but I was like, I still want to be respectful to him. So I remember I either sent him an email, sent him a text, and I was like, hey, I said, I got some guy that wants to make my gear. I want to do red and black. Is it okay if I do the colors? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I knew there was something I forgot to tell you guys. I wanted to tell you guys about 4 months ago that you earned your colors. He's like, yeah, man, go and do it. Go and do
That's
it.
what's up. That's what up. Yeah, I know with training wise, when you're jumping from trainer to trainer, sometimes you lose sometimes you lose track of what's important in your training, because a lot of times guys get like myself, we get so focused on the in-ring stuff and not the gym stuff. And I'm guilty. I'm guilty as charged. I was one of those guys who didn't hit the gym as much, and like I seen you throughout the years from time to time. Your body weight did go up and down, but now, dude, you are looking uh jacked. I'm like, I'm sorry. The picture could have. Let me just. Yeah, the picture could have been a little better because I got the things in there. But yeah, dude, you are looking great though. I'm like, you have the weight on and the muscle and all that. It's all toning out. It's dude, you are looking great. And
Thanks, man.
and
I
and
appreciate that. I
and then
appreciate that.
I guess you and Header might be on the same workout, because he's been putting on weight and he's starting to look good too. He's starting to look jacked himself.
Yeah, he's more chiseled. Like if you look at like his abdomens, he's more chiseled. I don't know if it's just my genetics or what, but I do a lot of ab workouts, a lot of fasted cardio, and I can't get his abs to look like mine. But at the same time, like I'll be telling him, hey man, I just benched this, or I just benched that, or I just did this, or I just did that. And it's like his strength's not where mine is. So it's like we always say I'm the Jim Neidhart of the group and he's the Bret Hart of the group. However, yet I'm still the submission guy. So it's kind of funny. I'm more the I guess the power. I guess that's why when we came up that we wanted to do a spike brain buster, we're like, well, who does what? And I was like, well, I'm stronger than you, so you can jump off the rope, and I'll give the guy the brain buster. Plus, I'm just a huge fan of Jushin Liger and Toshiaki Kawada, and that's two of their go-to holds. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we did. But I've never actually worked out with Header before. We go to Comic Con every year, and I always make sure whatever hotel we get in New York, it has a gym. And I always say, "Hey man, I'm getting up at this time. Do you want to come work out with me?" And it's so weird because like would never work out with me, and he always, I wouldn't say eats terrible. Like there's a lot of times that I really watch what I eat, but there's times he'll be eating pizza and pancakes and all this other part of my language bullshit, and I'm like on like 7, 8 straight days of like no alcohol. Like I can't remember last time I haven't had a soda. It's been like 20 years. Like I'll be dieting down real well, and yet he'll look more, in the abdomen area, like more jacked than me. I'm like, hey man, that's not fair. You just ate a whole pizza, and I'm on chicken, broccoli, and rice and a gallon of water. What's going on here? So it could be just genetics or just what. But I was like, I just come to grips with this. Like, I'll never have the Lex Luger abs, but I guess I'll look like, if I can look like Masawa or
Yeah.
one of those guys from All Japan, it's like, hey man, it is what it is.
Well, no, you know what? I actually kind of like that solid beefy type of look. Not the Lex Luger look. Guys who are in shape but have that weight advantage where you look solid though. It's
Like
not all
Mr. Perfect, you can see he was always in good shape,
yeah,
but he was when he took the straps
perfect.
down, he was never cut.
Yes,
He
yes,
was
yes.
never
He was one
cut.
of those
Yeah.
guys. Speaking of working out, we have a comment from or a question from one of our Matt. What were some of CM Punk's drills like, and what was the hardest part of Punk's camp? Was tough to get through.
Again, it was a lot of squats. It was a lot of cardio. Like I said, before we hit the ring, it would be anywhere between 5 to 6 miles. We were running around a warehouse, so I want to say it was about 5 to 6 miles, and then I want to say it was probably a couple hundred. You would do maybe 100 squats, take a break, 100 squats, take a break. Then I think we went like 150 squats. Then once we got into the ring, it was a lot of cardio drills, running the ropes. I mean, here's Punk. He's just coming off these hour matches with Samoa Joe. So he is, pretty much the Iron Man of pro wrestling in the States, not only in the independents, but just in wrestling. So he wanted to make sure we were, and he was very adamant, hey, if you guys are going out there using my name to get bookings, you guys are going to know how to wrestle. You're going to be respectful. You're going to be in shape. But it was a lot of running the rope drills, constantly running the rope drills this way to control your breathing and not to get blown up. So I think that might have been the hardest. Like the squats, I know it kind of sounds brutal and even try to do, and to this day I still do a ton of squats, but I remember being able to kind of put your mind at a completely different place. And I remember because I was so dead set on wanting to go to Ring of Honor, I remember doing the squats and staring at the ring and staring at the canvas that says Ring of Honor, and I was like, there's no way my legs will fall off before I quit. So like I was able when I did the squats to kind of put myself in a different mental space to get through them. I'm like, man, I got another 200 squats to do. I don't know if I can do another 20. And you kind of just, you shut that you take that doubt and you drowned it. So I was able to get through that. But some of the toughest parts, man, when you're running those ropes, and Chio, you've been in the ring before. When you're running a spot with somebody and you get blown up, you feel
Yeah.
like that you're about to take your last breath. You're ready. You feel like you're
It,
ready to take the
it's
stairway to
funny.
heaven, man. It's scary.
It's funny about being in ring shape and then just being in gym shape. There's guys who can be in gym shape all they want, but as soon as they get in the ring, they're blown up like crazy. So, but
There's nothing in the gym that can compare you for being wrestling. And then I know some people in the in the bigger feds, that are wrestling 4 or 5, 6 times a week. They don't do cardio at the gym. They'll just go in, they'll do an hour weights, stretch a little, and go home. It's just like, well, you get my cardio when I'm wrestling, when I'm wrestling in the ring. I'm like, you can't, I can run the treadmill all day long, and then you can get in the ring and you can run tackle, drop down, vertical, arm drag, get it again, another arm
well,
drag.
well,
You know what I mean?
the funny part about that, though, what you're saying is times are different now than compared years ago, because before all the TV and the pay-per-view and the internet, now guys only wrestle the nights that they're being broadcasted really on TV, some house shows here and there. But back then, you were mainly doing house shows galore everywhere, you know.
Yeah,
So
sometimes
yeah,
twice on the weekends.
you got that cardio in for sure in the ring, and that's what's up. Uh, Now going back to your training, I know you did all that training there in RH. I did some research. I seen you had multiple matches in ROH. I think you probably worked for them for like maybe 2 years on the undercards,
Yeah, the
like
darts, and then
the
there was
darts. Yeah,
and then there was a handful of regular show matches as well. Sure,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, and then through that time of training, not just with ROH, but going back to backbreakers, glitter. I'm sure he trained you more of the character side of your
yeah,
guys because of who he is, because he was more like a Bobby Heenan character. Because I worked with Glitter back in the day with Pops.
yeah. He was a manager. I think he was a manager for
Yes,
WWF when they would come like to the local like house shows like around the Pennsylvania, New
yeah,
York, New Jersey
you're
area.
like a
So
dark match manager type thing.
yeah, and I think he was like manager. I think he like managed Doink and the Bushwhacker. So that's what you were getting. You were getting like the character stuff. And like I
Yeah,
didn't. And I'm sitting there going, I just want to know how to do a superplex into a brain buster. Like I didn't get it. And then like 5 or 6 years later, I remember driving down the road and I was like, okay. And that's what's great about wrestling. You literally learn all this stuff and just be like, when am I going to ever use this, or does this make any sense? And all of a sudden, something will. And even to this day, there's sometimes that I'll go down to backbreakers now run by our good buddy Justin Glory. And there's times I'll teach a class or I'll kind of take the reins or show somebody something. And then 3, 4 years down the road, I'll get a message saying, hey, that thing you taught me, how to do the headlock takeover into the armbar. It's like, now I understand where it works and why I'd have to put it at a certain spot in my match. So that's
well,
what's great
yeah,
about wrestling.
yeah.
You're always learning. You're always learning.
The good thing about when they're learning is like they finally learn the transition of a move to another move, uh the plus the right time of when you're doing a particular move on a certain part of the body. You're not just doing it. Sometimes when you're doing multiple moves, it's for a reason. You're breaking the guy down, you're telling a story, you're breaking that one part of the body, whether it be an arm or a leg or whatever. You had those certain moves for that. You see guys putting this move on here on this part of the body, that move on another part. They're hitting all the different parts of the body, but you're not breaking the guy down on that one general area to tell the story, and you're not giving him time to sell that one part of the body. Here, he got to sell every damn thing you
Yeah.
touched already.
And you're not getting as much. You're getting maybe 80% of sympathy out of the crowd. You might be like, "Oh, well, we have the crowd." I'm like, "Yeah, but you probably would have got it more if you kind of just did this one thing, or maybe you go to an arm, you can't get the arm, you go to the leg, and then maybe you go back to it. There's all certain things, and try different things. Sometimes, Chio, sometimes you throw stuff at a wall, and you just be like,
Mm.
"Oh, I didn't think that was gonna stick, but it stuck, and the crowd bought it." Sometimes you think you're gonna serve the chicken, the crowd chicken, but they actually want steak, and you might just be like, "Oh, hold on, I have an extra steak in the back. Let's give it to them." And you can change things on the fly. Sometimes
Let
that works, and sometimes it doesn't, and that's just the beauty of wrestling.
Let's see if you can answer this question. What probably during these, especially these new kids out there, what is one of the most important things to tell these kids, though. Let's see if you are on the same wavelength as I am. I have it stuck in my head. Let's just see
Uh,
if you come out with the same answer.
there's so much that I see. Like they have all the athletic stuff down, but selling and psychology and the psychology of selling and building selling. You don't go from 0 to 100. You're selling an arm, you kind of gradually go to it, and then you kind of and then if you're a baby face and you're selling, the guy's working your arm. Eventually, you do something, you create separation. Maybe you throw an arm drag or you throw a drop kick or something, create separation, and then you bring it back. That's just the up and down. It's like a roller coaster, the ebbs and flows. But there's some people that I see now that's like these young kids. They're so athletic and they're so good and they're so in tune with the crowd and whatnot.
Spot
But they can,
monkeys.
yeah. And hey, that's all good on them. But if they were just kind of learn a little bit more of the selling and psychology, like, oh man, did you hear that crowd? Did you hear that pop? We really got them. But you could have got them even more if you milked things a little bit longer.
Three words. What I was getting at. Three words. Less is more.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes,
and
yeah,
they want
sometimes, sure.
and they want to go out there and give it everything. But then if you give them too much of everything, they don't have nothing else to really offer later on another day, or they're taken away from other people on the show. Especially when you're opening the show and you're hitting everything in the book, you're taking away not just from yourself for the future, but from the other guys on the card as well too. Tell
Yeah.
and just like tell
That's,
that story, take your time, pace yourself. Yo, the crowd is there for make them a part of your match. Make
but
the
you know what,
crowd,
you
the fans.
know what, when I see that, like if I'm on match 3 and match 1 of these two kids and they're going out and doing everything, to me it's just like, okay, hey, hey, kudos to them, man. They're just excited to be there, excited to get their stuff on because there may be 50 people in the crowd, but at the same time, the world's a smaller place now with the internet. So who's not to say
Mhm.
someone's gonna not gonna record that, send it into a Cody, send it into a
Yeah,
Billy Corgan over at NWA. So it's like,
and they
yeah,
get
there's 50.
noticed.
Yeah, and they get noticed. I mean, so hey, kudos to them. But if I see that like match 1, I'm on match 3. My thing is just like, hey man, good on them. I'm gonna try a different way to get the crowd, and I may do it with an arm, with just a simple arm bar. I may do it with simple submission. I may do it with 5 or 6 strikes. I may do it with selling. I may do something that they did, but just add a little more psychology to it or add a little more character to it. There's so much different seasoning that you can put on your steak to make it taste different and maybe better than what the previous cook did before.
I see that we have like two other comments in the chat room, but I'm not gonna get. I'm not, guys. I'm not gonna get to those questions yet because they're like, they're not quite on the topic that of the stuff that we're talking about. You guys are like jumping the gun, especially like Pat. Pat, like Frizzo, he knows better. I don't know why he's asking these questions right away. Let's build up to those because we have a lot more to talk about. Um, but the training wise, okay. Uh, you busted it up with Glitter. You busted it up with Punk. You went over to Chikara to do a little work there too as well. Now, did Chikara help you bridge all that from the other two together? Because I know Quack is very fundamental on character and as well as the moves, as well as too, and the psychology too. And we all know, everyone who knows him, uh, me not personally, but I heard the stories. That he's very precise about what he wants.
Yeah, Quack's a genius. He really is. But he was more of the like kind of the lucha side, and he would show you like how to do like these fancy flash pins that you see like the New Japan juniors doing. So that's where I learned a lot from him. But where the stuff that I liked the most, where I learned the most from, was from Chris Hero, because Hero was there, and actually Claudio, who now is Cesaro in WWE, he was living with Hero at the time. So he was actually training there as well, and you could just see like this when this guy's 6 inches taller than everybody else, in better shape than everybody else. We would be running the cardio drills, and he was the only one that wouldn't get tired. And he would see that he's the only one not tired. You would generally feel bad because he's such a nice guy, and like, oh yeah, I'm kind of blown up too, and he's just saying it to make you feel better. So we his real name's Claudio, but we would call him Cardio because he guy would never get blown up. Then you're learning from guys like Larry Sweeney, because you'd
Yeah,
see him. He was
God rest
training
his
there as
soul.
well. God rest his soul. Just
Yeah.
I was lucky enough. I got to wrestle him once, and I just learned so much from putting the match together and crowd psychology and where to put where. And then I was over there too, or when I was working out at Chikara, Jorge Rivera, who wrestled on the name
Ye-
Skyda, he was there.
yes.
He was the main trainer for Ultimo Dragon's Gym, Torimon. And I think when Okada was on excursion before he went back to New Japan and came, took over the world, I think he was like one of Okada's main trainers as well. So I learned a ton from him. So it's like, yeah, I would go to Chikara on the days I didn't have training with the Ring of Honor, just to learn something. And I would, learn a ton from Quack, from Hero, from Skyda. And then you're working out with, Larry Sweeney, Claudio, Cesaro, Jigsaw, Hollow Wicked. So there's a whole bunch of great students that were there as well as the trainers. So you're just learning a ton from just some top tier talent that I don't think gets enough recognition. Yeah, I'm proud with the
Yeah.
English
No,
language.
it's all right. It happens coming from that foreign land of Old Forge, PA. You know, far away on the land of the rising sun until you get the shovel out to get the snow. Uh, but yo, you hands down, you wrestled for a whole lot of companies since your debut in 2004. I thought you debuted a lot longer. I thought we were on the same length of working wise. I didn't realize I was 10 years ahead of you in working because I started back in 94. I'm like, holy shit. As soon as I seen you were in 2004, I'm like, damn, I got 10 years on this kid. I'm like,
Well,
holy
even
shit.
before 2004 is when I debuted for Ring of Honor. I was wrestling about a year and a half before I debuted for Ring of Honor. Actually, this August will be 20 years for me. 20 years
Yeah.
in the business.
Just to run down some of the list here of just some of the companies. VWA, I seen GBW, which really took me uh when I saw you and listed against JT Roberts. That's something I would have loved to see. I love JT Roberts, great kid. God rest his soul as
God
well.
rest him, man.
Yeah,
What a good brother.
yeah,
Great
yeah.
brother. Good dude.
Gone too soon. You know how they say the I don't want to say the good die young. It's hate to say it, but how the songs go. You were actually even IWA Mid South. Uh, I'm not sure what is WOHW. Is that World of Hurt Wrestling?
Oh, World of Hurt Wrestling. Yeah, I was on those shows with
O-
Brody Lee, Tony
okay.
DeVito, HC Loke. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Chikara, CPW, Combat Zone as well. Gun Ho, Wrestle Jam 3, VCW. Ain't VCW from up your way? Wasn't that Valley Championship Wrestling?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. APW, West Pro Wrestling, WESS, West. I seen that.
Probably, man. There was a lot of
Yeah, there's a
promotions
lot of
that would start up. Like they would use those Ring of Honor kids because it's like Punk, at this time Punk's WWE, so it's like let's use Punk's kids. I'm going to start a promotion, and they would run like one or two shows, and then they would lose their ass, and then they would fold. I mean, I don't need to
got
tell you about that. You've
yeah.
seen those come and go. So there's a lot of promotions that people are like, hey, I remember when I saw you here, and I'm like, I don't even remember. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
was
remember.
it was down the street from my house. They only ran one show, and they went under.
Yeah, I saw you at that GSW place that, I love GSW. WXW, True, PPW, EWA, Outbreak, and RCW. That's just name a few. I'm sure there's a lot more on there. You held
Probably.
titles throughout, I'm not going to say majority of them, but most of them that you considered your home base companies, such as like True and Grand Slam, PPW, your ones that you spent more time in constantly. And when you were getting into your first match, setting up, our buddy Mike chimed in. What was your initial reaction when you were getting ready to do your first match ever?
Well, my first match ever, again, this is before I was at Ring of Honor, was I was wrestling Danny Rage, who's still in the business as well, and I knew Danny from doing backyard, so we kind of rehearsed our match, kind of like over and over and over. So we were pretty confident going in, and the match was it was in Music, which is literally 4 blocks away from Old Forge where I grew
Mhm.
up. So it's like we already had majority of the crowd. So I just remember we went out there, we did a whole bunch of spots. I don't think we put any really psychology behind it, looking back almost 20 years. And it didn't matter what we did, we would have had the crowd. But I remember just being confident because Danny was, God, it's been a long time since I wrestled Dan. I would, really like to get back in the ring with them. But I remember being nervous, but like a good, confident nervous. And I just remember we had a really good, exciting match, and the crowd really enjoyed it. And I remember like, okay, you kind of get your first one out of the block. It's just onward and upward from here.
Yeah, for those who don't realize who Danny Rage is, he used to be part of the New Jersey Indie All Stars. He was with Lucky and another young man who is making his rounds on AEW, currently known as Orange Cassidy. But you can look for Danny Rage nowadays under the name Dan Champion. So
He's another dude that did phenomenal with his body. He was always tall.
Oh yeah,
He was
he's
always
huge.
kind of skinny. Now he's huge. Yeah, he hits the gym hard. Good on him, man. Another good dude.
Yeah. Was it Pat saying what was your favorite match this for in your career? I'm sure there's a lot of them out there though.
I'll be cliche and just say it hasn't happened yet, but I'll give kind of just three. There was a three-way that me recently, was recently a few years ago. Was, me and Header teamed up. Both Team Blue and Gold. Me and Andy Header. It was a three-way against Mustache Club and Jason Furious and Andy Harner. That was a good one. And then I had a match down in Delaware against Christopher Daniels. We were supposed to go, I think, like 12 to 13 minutes. We wind up going closer to 20 just because we had the crowd where it was. And Daniels wanted to stretch it out. And he's like, don't worry. He's like, if we get heat, because it'll be on me. And the promoters are a good buddy of mine, Mike. I call him Massive Mike. Yeah, I know he wasn't going to say anything. So that was a good learning experience for me because, like, we called half of it in the ring and half of it, behind the curtain. And then there was a match I had with Devin Moore, where Devin Moore is more he's like, he's more of a CZW guy and I'm a Ring of Honor guy. So he's more kind of like the death-defying deathmatch stuff, and I'm more the technical, hard-hitting. But I remember he came up to me before the show, and he's like, hey, man, he's like, I know what you do. You know what I do. Do you just want to call it out there? I'm like, yeah, no problem. We were supposed to go to a 20-minute drop. So I'm like, no problem. Literally, and we had Matt Derline as a referee, and thank God he was our ref. He's the best ref I've ever been in the ring.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Down. And I've been in the ring with some of the refs that are in AEW. So and they're great refs, but I'll take Matty over any of those guys. But I remember telling us, this is what we're doing. I said, just give us our time cues. I remember we had the crowd like in the palm of our hand. Everything was flowing. So they went to 20-minute time limit draw. And sometimes you get the time limit draw, people are booing because they want a winner. Well, we got a standing ovation, and everyone was chanting for 5 more minutes. And I was like, I didn't want to do 5 more minutes. Not that I was blown up or anything. But again, that's going back to the CM Punk Ring of Honor training. I wasn't blown up, but I'm like, I just have this perfect Mona Lisa masterpiece, and now they want me to paint a background on it. So it was Ricky David was the promoter. So he comes out and he's like, you guys want 5 more minutes? I'll give you 5 more minutes. And we had a pretty good 5 more minutes, but I was like, I wish we wouldn't have had that because I thought it kind of just maybe muddied it up just a little bit. But those 3 matches, Daniels, Devin Moore, and then the 3-way, because I got to put a tag match on there.
I know one of the guys are in the chat room. I know he's itching for this question to be asked. Just like I'm sure Pat wants him to ask this question too, but it's his brother Michael. Do you still keep in contact with Punk?
No, I got a lot of people. And I have sometimes my wife will sit me down. I've been with my wife 12, 13 years, so she really didn't know, the craziness of the Ring of Honor schedule. Now it's like, for how busy I've been on the road, I think she gets it a little. But sometimes, like, I'll be sitting down watching AEW. I'm like, oh, I know that guy. Or I'll pull up a clip of, like, this guy's on. She's like, how come you're not using these contacts to get into AEW? And I don't want to be that guy. Be like, hey, man, remember that one time we wrestled 6 years ago?
But you know what's funny about that? For the people that me and you both know, and we know a lot of people, and the regular people like we work with, whatever, don't realize who we keep in contact, or even just out of the blue, they might hit us up out of nowhere, whether it be a text on Twitter or something like that. Hey, buddy, what's going on? I haven't talked to you. And it's like these guys might be on TV somewhere, and me and you are talking to these individuals like it's nothing, like it's an everyday, like it's a guy down the street. Hey, buddy, what's going on? I haven't and people realize, well, if you're friends with them and if you wrestled with these guys back then, how comes you're working here and you're not there? And they always ask that same question to us.
Well, it's to answer his question, I haven't talked to Punk since WrestleMania 29 weekend, where I was there because it was in New York, and that's when he wrestled Taker. I talked to him a little bit that Saturday before the Hall of Fame, and a little bit that morning. But I haven't talked to him. I haven't talked to him since. But I did talk to him quite a bit. I remember at Extreme Rules we used to have before I got married and moved to where I'm moving. I lived with one of my best friends in high school. We'd always have pay-per-view parties. And it was Extreme Rules. I believe it was in May or June. Yeah, I think it was May. And the main event was Jeff Hardy versus Edge in the ladder match. And my roommate hated Jeff Hardy. And I said, "Oh, Hardy's contract's expiring in a month. They're not going to put the belt on him." Hardy wins. Punk comes in, cashes the Money in the Bank, wins the belt. So a whole bunch of us are sitting there having a beer. My roommate goes outside to have a cigarette, and guess who texts me? Punk. Punk texts me, and he's just like, "Yeah, this because that's the first time he turned heel." Now, obviously, a lot of those people never seen heel CM Punk. Obviously, I have because of heel CM Punk in Ring of Honor. So we're going back and forth, and I kind of tapped on the window. I was like, "Hey, man," I said, "Guess who just texted me?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're full of crap. You're telling me it's Punk." And I literally took my phone and pressed it up against the window, and he's like, "Holy jeez."
Yeah,
And he would do that. He would do that. Sometimes I wouldn't hear from him a month. And sometimes I'd wake up like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, like, "Hey man, we're like we're in Europe, and some heavy metal song came on the jukebox, and I thought of how terrible of a wrestler you are," something like that. I'm a big heavy metal fan, so so he's like, "Yeah, I heard we were in a bar somewhere, and obviously Punk's not drinking, but he'd go out with the boys." And this band was covering Iron Maiden. And I thought, "Oh man, that's a terrible band, and it goes well with the terrible wrestler that Matt Turner is." It's like, "Anywho, buddy, I saw this match on YouTube. Think you're doing well," or something like that. But yeah, Punk is just again. I haven't talked to him since Mania 29, so you're talking 7-8 years ago. But I have nothing but great things to say about CM Punk.
Hey, a little surprise. We had CM Punk on our show by accident.
How'd that happen?
It was Dennis was at one of the events in an AEW event in New York, and in the background, we were live. Dennis was live through his phone, and in the background, Punk was walking Larry, his dog. So it was like, "Hey," so like, "Ah, hey, we got him on the show." We're not really, but hey, but
that's like when we were at WrestleMania a couple years ago, and we did the Ring of Honor New Japan show at the Garden, NXT, and WrestleMania. It was Mania 35, and somebody contacted me and Heather. I think Heather just went to the Ring of Honor show at the Garden. Some guy contacted me and Heather, and he's like, "Hey, I know you guys are at the show. I do a podcast. You want to do a quick 15-minute podcast live outside the Garden?" I'm like, "Hey, great." So we're doing the podcast, and Okada just won the IWGP Championship against Jay White, and here comes Okada walking out in his boots to do like a photo shoot in front of the Garden with the belt. So he just came walking out, and just like, because Okada's like 6'4", he's
yeah,
like, how, and the guy's like, "Oh, I just kind of got Okada on our podcast."
yeah. It was funny. I remember back in GSW. I know you definitely remember this. With the vignettes you were filming about who was going to be your secret your partner and everything. It was just like leading that breadcrumbs to Punker, and then next thing you know, you're in the ring and the music hits and you think it's him, and coming out, I had this individual. He had the little Russell underwear that looked like Punk's tights, and
the Chicago flag. Yeah.
He had all the get up and all that stuff. As soon as he got up on the top rope, took the hood off, Andy Header's out there with you, and then I can honestly say I managed you, I don't know, maybe 3 times, I think, maybe.
But it was fun. It was funny because I remember I was in the ring and there was probably half the crowd bid it. I'm like, yeah, because we were doing the promos, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of just for me. It's kind of just fun. Brad was really like it. I think Brad was like helping like edit the promos. He was like, if we can get 3 or 4 people to buy it on, that'll be good. But I remember the music hit.
Oh, they popped. Like, they went nuts.
They they were like, huh? And then all of a sudden, Header, and they, the way that they did that, John did the lighting, and then yeah, we had the you had the CM Punk, under Ruse on or whatever in the jacket. So once he came out, we probably had three-fourths of that building thought it was really Punk, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was like, wow, I can't believe they bit that hard on it.
And now, every once in a while when I'm at a show, you always hear me calling you, "Hey, you punk." Inside joke, yeah, punk. But dude, you've been uh doing big things like what has to be one of your, not say best matches, because you already answered about the matches, like like what is one of your greatest achievements, not just a best match of that you done in wrestling by far?
I can always say it's like, I'm the only one of Punk's kids that are still left wrestling. I'll always be, regardless of what happens, and obviously the best wrestler to come out of that wrestling school is Red Titus. I believe he was second class under like Aries and Danielson. But I'm the only one of Punk's kid. I'll always be first class. I'm part of that. There's only a handful. There was only 4 or 5 of us. I'm the only one that's still wrestling. My buddy Shane Hagedorn is a producer over at AEW, and I talk to him on a weekly basis. And he's another absolutely good dude, great dude. Shout out to him. So there's that, and the fact that it's like, well, I went to the Ring of Honor dojo, and then I went to the New Japan dojo for a New Japan tryout, for a weekend. So it's like I kind of have that, and I would love to go back to the New Japan dojo. That's one of my big goals because Shibata is training there now, and I know they were running camps in 2019, and then they just shut it down because everything happened, with COVID, and they haven't opened it back up yet for the public. But I'm probably on that New Japan dojo website 4 times a week waiting for it to open back up, and I have my money ready to go to fly out to LA because Katsuri Shibata is probably the guy I probably take the most from in ring. Like when I do that, you've seen my interest, Chio, where I do the MMA circle around the ring and then I sit cross leg in the ring. A
Yep,
lot of people are
yep.
like, oh, he does it because of Punk. It's like, yeah, kind of, but I do more or less because Shibata does it. And I'm
Yeah.
such, and it's like, to me, it's just like, hey, I got to train
And
with
you're
Punk
paying
and
homage.
yeah,
You're
I'm paying
paying
homage
homage.
obviously to the both of them, but it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I train with Punk and I train with Joe and I train MMA with Valentina Shevchenko and Nick Diaz, and I've done catch wrestling, and I've gotten advice from Jim Cornette and Roderick Strong, and I trained at the New Japan, LA dojo. But it's like, to me, like the last piece of the puzzle for me is to train at the New Japan LA dojo under Shibata. So it's like, that's kind of my next goal. But this it's it's just I've accomplished. If you would have told me back 8th grade when I was, 105 pounds soaking wet, that I would have been able to do this and still wrestling 20 years later in the best shape of my life and have no signs of slowing down. I think just the longevity. I think right now that's my biggest accomplishment. I still have so much left to do. I have so many. I'm very goal oriented, and I have so many. I write down my goals all the time. I have so many goals left to accomplish, and to me, there's no reason why I can't accomplish every one of them.
Well, I'm glad you still have more of a longevity than I do. I feel like I'm at the tail end of my wrestling career, which hands down I haven't been wrestling. I don't know how long since I got hurt. I took up managing. Now I work behind the scenes a lot. My goal is probably in 2023. I'm looking to probably phase out of this year of working at shows, renting my services. So I'm looking to probably open up my own place, my own school, and give back to the business. Even though I may not make it anywhere myself, the knowledge that I learned from ABC and all these other different reputable people and schools that I attended would all come full circle and help me give to somebody else who probably will make it, and that'd be great. That'd be phenomenal. And I look so much forward to that, to doing programs like that, will where not just teaching wrestling. I'll be teaching life in general, because I want it to be like even young kids who love the stuff in school can come here, and it'd be like an after school program to get them off the street. It'd be a safe place. Whatever they learn there, like if they're doing stuff in school, whether it be writing, videography, photography, gear making, whatever, they can bring all that to a school and teach it of how we do the production side of this, and they can take it back to school as projects and get graded on that too. So I want it to be not just a wrestling school, but I want it to help kids also do good in school too as well. And like I said, it'll be a safe space for them to come too. So
Yeah,
and that door will be open for everybody.
not only that, but like when you train in wrestling, especially again, I kind of told you how hard I trained. When you go out there in the quote unquote, like I've been in sales for 15, 16 years. I've been making a living at it. I've been able to feed my wife and daughter, put a roof over the head, our heads. I've done very well at it. And it's like, well, you're trying to sell a certain product. I can do that because I've been able to do 1,000 squats and get beat up by Samoa Joe. And this is a piece of cake. Like my work ethic is so high because of what I was able to do, in the Ring of Honor dojo and the New Japan dojo, even today, my gym work and being on the road. So it's just like when you're going into an interview to get a higher position or to get a promotion, your job interview is basically a promo, putting yourself over. So it's just like, other than saying, if you don't give me this promotion, I'm going to brain bust you through the table. Monday night at the Coliseum. Other
Yeah.
than that, that's basically what you're doing. So pro wrestling really gives you life skills and it builds up that work ethic. That's just like,
Mm-hmm.
well, wait a minute, yeah, I can definitely do this job because I can, if I can jump off the top rope and do a 450, I can definitely, be able to
Well,
move this product or whatever.
also, for us to speak in front of live crowds on the mic or whatever, or even if you ain't on the mic and you're just talking to the fans in general with your voice, that helps you to open up. If you wasn't a people person outside of the ring, when you go into the work environment or whatever, it helps you open up, especially if someone says, hey, can you come talk to the kids at my school or whatever, or hey, can you conduct this meeting at the job site, whatever, I'm not going to be there, can you handle it? It's just like, okay, I got to think of it as it's a promo. I'm working in front of a crowd, and it helps you develop yourself. It helps you open up.
Yeah, and then you don't have to, with the promos, you always want to hit on certain topics. It's just like, just if you're talking, you're not going to have everything script from A to Z. Like I can't tell you how many best man speeches I've given throughout the years, and I never write anything down, and I'll always start like, I'm not going to write anything down. I'm just going to talk to the heart. And the way CM Punk would tell us about promos is like, if there's 4 seconds left of the game and Peyton Manning throws the winning touchdown, within a minute there's a live mic in front of his face. Peyton Manning didn't have scripted what he's going to say. He was worried about winning the game. So everything he's saying is truthful and it comes through the heart. And he's one of the best, after the game promos in the history of football. And the reason why is because he's just speaking from his heart and just, telling like it is. So it's like, yeah, obviously certain promos, you may want to hit certain points, but a lot of it just don't script and just be yourself, be that character, turn into that character. And that's one way to connect with the crowd and get yourself over.
Yeah, we got Pat chime in. What is the best advice you received about the business?
Two things. My man Joe Sposto, who was Leonard F. Chikara's in Chikara, we were really good friends. Well, we're still good friends, but you know how it is. You get married, have kids, and you kind of go your separate ways.
Yeah.
I remember when I first got into Ring of Honor, he told me the only person that can stop you is from you achieving your dreams is you. And I would always take the younger guys aside, and I would always tell them that the only way, if you want to go WWE, New Japan, All Japan, the only person that could stop you from doing that is you. And then the other would be Punk would always, if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Yeah, it's funny when you say about you used to pull the younger the younger guys, because I remember the one time up at Grand Slam, I was talking to a couple of the young guys here about something, and then you turned around and was like, yo, it's like, what the hell? It's like, chill, with all this knowledge and stuff, you would think you would run your own promotion and stuff. And like, I'm like, well, I did. It's, it's finance. It costs money. We all know that.
That's
I'm
why
like,
I can never run a show. I can help maybe book or help like agent
yeah,
matches, but it's just like no,
yeah.
I don't. It's a headache.
Honestly, I'm gonna be the first time I'm gonna be saying this live. I'm like, I hate being a promoter running shows. I literally hate it because I see the hassle and the pain that goes into it and what so much goes into it. But I like being that support system behind the scenes to help at least, okay, if you're running something, I'm gonna at least have your back, at least try to make it run the best of the ability, however I can possible. Now, uh moving on. We both did a lot of stuff in our time. And one of the things that uh a lot of wrestlers we play video games and stuff like that, and growing up we had the action figures and stuff, and we always wish we had our own little action figure or be in a video game. And by chance our guy came across this.
Oh yeah, that's the. I saw that people were maybe a handful, probably back in the summertime. People were posting that, so I kind of was just like, "Huh, that was weird." And then I kind of hit up the one guy just to see what it was, and then he hit me up. He's like, "Hey man," he's like, "Do you want to be in this video game?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "Fill this out," and I filled it out, and they're like, "Okay, we'll let you know when it's going to come out." So
Yeah,
I've been seeing some things here or there, but hopefully it comes through fruition. I mean,
it's
hopefully it comes through.
it's going to be on Steam, and it's not going to be a playable game like you can play the actual guys like you do in the other games. It's more like it's like a card game. It's like your character, and then they'll have their stats and stuff. It's going to be like one of those kind, almost like
Oh, okay.
one of those kind, like So you're not actually going to be able to play yourself and do the moves or anything like that. So it's like, okay, you can get your characters, and this card's going to play against that card, and whatever level powers, I guess, whatever you had. Not to mention, Joey Image is going to be in this game as well,
Oh, I want him to manage me.
and 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 I'm going to be in the game as well. I have my own. I'm listed too as well.
We should try to see, maybe we can our own separate thing where it's like we hang out after the matches and we can see, we can go drink and maybe cause a
They,
bar fight. It won't cost
they
us anything because it's a fictional game. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like Matt Turner and Chio, they do the double team brain buster on a drunk guy at so and so's bar as Joey Image does a shot of tequila.
They have I think they have a spot on there where you can actually make stables. So
Oh,
if we can get like a group of us who's already going to be in it, because I know there's a lot of guys that we know already posted pictures up like this that they're going to be in it from up around our way.
is
Guys
Header
that
in
we
it?
I honestly I think he is.
Oh, there.
I have to go. You know what? You would have to go and check his Facebook page and see if there's a picture of
I'll
his.
just all I gotta do is just text him. I talk to
Yeah,
Header every day,
yeah.
but that would be a heck of a stable. Me, you, Image, and Header.
It well, it's not that far off, hell. Oh man. Dude, man. I don't know what else we can get into, because we can get into so much deeper stuff, but then thing is, when you start digging deeper, you start shooting on uh uh people, which nobody likes to shoot on no one, because
No, I
because we like to keep the peace. We like to keep the
No,
peace.
I know when I get asked, obviously, Chi, I've known you a long time, but there's some times that people will hit me up like, "Hey, man, can you do my podcast?" But yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
sure, no, no problem. The only thing is, if you want me to come on and bury anybody, I'm not going to do it because I don't have really anything negative to say about anybody, especially in the business. And I said this, I do a podcast where I cover stardom, and I'll plug that in a minute. But I did that one. I did my podcast earlier today, and we were talking about a certain match, and I said, before I get into it, Roddy Piper always said, anybody that answers the bell, I have the ultimate respect for. So if you're in, any sport, whatsoever, you're sacrificing your body. And we sacrifice our bodies in wrestling and get paid next to nothing and nothing. So I have the ultimate respect for anybody that answers the bell. So I will never, if you guys want any, with CM Punk an asshole, tell me about this. I have so many awesome CM Punk stories of how great a human being that person is. But I'm not going to go on and bury anybody because one, I really don't have any dirt on anybody, and two, I'm just, I have the ultimate respect for everybody in our business.
Yeah. And you were speaking of a podcast just then, yourself. Plug your podcast, brother. Plug it.
Yeah, I just started doing this podcast with this guy by the name of Rob Goodwin. Rob actually lives in England, so it's pretty funny. Rob is from England. I'm obviously from America, and we're talking about an all-female promotion based out of Japan. It's called Stardom. Stardom is probably it's my second favorite promotion to watch. Right out, it's right there with right behind AEW. So anybody's curious about it, I know there is a lot of people that are curious about it. Our podcast is free. Obviously, we have a Patreon episode. We have Patreon that goes up twice a month, but we record once a week. It's the Stardom Cast. So, by all means, guys, it's free to subscribe. So subscribe, give it a listen, and let me know. Let me know what you like or any
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah. There is a web page that I go to where they stream Stardom wrestling shows on, like everything's up to date. A lot
Oh
of stuff,
wow.
even the New Japan stuff. I'll actually send it to you after we get off the air. Then.
I subscribe to New Japan World and Stardom, and
Yeah.
I'll give them my money. Those
Oh
guys are
yeah,
really good.
yeah, yeah. But this site here, it's just like it it puts everything out there from WWE, AEW, Japan.
Oh
Uh,
wow,
uh
like the Noah stuff. Yeah, some of
yes,
that Noah stuff's tough to get.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Pro Wrestling Noah's
Other
crushing it.
other indie stuff. I think some Mexico stuff too as well. They have a whole and everything's up to date. Like they'll stream it the same day of whatever's going on, and then I guess like afterwards or the next day they'll have the regular link on there. We can just watch it normal
Oh,
too as
cool.
well.
Like a network. Cool.
Yeah, 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 pretty much. But it's yeah, like I said, I'll shoot you the uh the 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 web address. It's pretty decent. Uh, now you and Header been putting out some very very nice merchandise out there, I must say. And and the one I was digging is the one that you have on your flag. Is it that one there?
Oh yeah, that is a take off Pancrase. Pancrase was a Shudo promotion that was started in the early '90s by Minoru Suzuki and Matsuhito Funaki. So what I did, and then I've been training a lot in Catch as Catch Can wrestling, and they basically took that Pancrase logo and put Catch as Catch Can on it. So I took it to my art guy. Shout out to Alex Sanchez, who is a comic book artist. He's done covers for Back to the Future, GI Joe, a bunch of whole other stuff. So I basically sent it over to my guy Alex and said, "Hey, can you take the Pancrase logo and just put Matt Turner in it?" So he did that one. He did the Pride one, Pride Championship. He did that one for me, and then he also did the Death of Superman logo and Dinner into the Death of Matt
Yeah, I
Turner.
have that one
There it
there.
is. There it is. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
That was a. You know what's funny about that shirt? I got it. I got it in the mail on a Friday, and I got a whole bunch of them. And I opened it up and I looked at it. And my wife goes, I don't like that one. I don't think you'll sell a lot of them. And I think I needed to sell something like 10 to break even, right? I'm like, I just
Yeah.
want to break even. And I remember I took a picture, put it on my social media, and then we had dinner. An hour later, I picked up my phone and I had 15 orders on my phone. And I was like, well, I just made my money back before I even sold it at my merch table. So that was one of the
Ye-
very few times my wife was wrong about something.
Yeah, I think I got uh
I think you got
I got
the
I
dream
got
match one.
this one. Yeah, I got the dream match one. I got this one too. You sent me. I think you sent one of this for Jocelyn too as well.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch that came in
And
an error, so I think
yeah,
I just sent those out for
and
free. Yeah,
and Jocelyn ended up getting one of these. I think she has this shirt here of you and Header.
yeah, that was the first one. That's when we wind up getting that one. We sold so we had to I think three. We sold out like three times in three shows, and we were realized. And I think we were teaming 3 4 years at the time. We were like, damn, we should have been selling T-shirts beforehand. And that my man Alex, he did that one. Now, Chio, if you take a look underneath, there's some wrestlers in there. Can you name all the wrestlers that are under there?
Oh shit. Okay. Well, Shawn Michaels.
Uh huh.
I see. Stone Cold.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell is that with the tattoo on the back of their neck? Man, I'm gonna have to come back to that one.
Uh,
Is the blonde hair? Is that Mr. Kennedy?
no, that's Okada.
Okay, Okada.
And
And then the one with,
the guy with the tattoo is a guy we've been talking about a whole lot.
oh, Punk.
That's Punk, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Wait, is that
Yeah.
the fish? Is that the fish tattoo? Wait, no, he has the fish elsewhere. Ain't it on his arm?
Yeah, and it's on
The
that is
with the
based
yeah.
yeah, that's based off X-Men comic book cover. And so is the other one. The other one, if you go back to the other one, that was based off X-Men, I think 300.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let
yeah. And
me
I
go
have
back there.
another yeah, that's based off I think it was X-Men 300 where the MTR and the AAH are they were a whole bunch of X's. And I forget who the two characters are on there, but I have the actual comic books of both. And I have another one in the works. I have another one in the
Okay.
works. I told Alex is working on one. He just had a baby, so I told him. Well, his wife had the baby, didn't. But I told him to, hey man, take your time with it, just because I haven't been wrestling that much, just with the virus popping up in the holidays. that a lot of the shows I were on were getting canceled. So I kind of told him, I said,
Well,
you know, when you get to it, you get to it. But yeah, I got another one. He
well,
showed
I
me the
guess
outline of it.
I guess this is old because it says February 22. These
No,
promo.
no, if you take a look, it says February 2nd to the 4th. So that I just put that up recently.
Oh, okay. No, I was looking in the corner where it says use promo code Feb22. That's what I was looking at. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
February of the new year. All right.
yeah.
Yeah. So there you go, folks. Pro wrestlingtees.com. Would that be for blue and gold, or would that be
That's
Matt?
just the blue and gold, the Matt Turner stuff, and the Dream Match stuff. I literally have. I'm pointing. There's a door right here. When you go up that door, there's all my merch is there. But there's also a T-shirt that it's another one. Alex did. He did one. I don't know if I know you have it. I don't know if you have it here, but it's picture me and Header versus my all-time favorite tag team, Kawada and Taue from All Japan, the Holy
No,
Game 9.
no, I don't have
Yeah,
it listed here. I
but
actually, it's
I
sitting
sent
up in
it
the
to you though.
closet. I
Yeah, if
should
you
have
have
wore
it.
it. I should have wore
Yeah.
it.
Free plug. But yeah, he did it. And it's based on the old like All Japan posters that you would see like them put out like in the 90s. So
now,
that's my favorite one. I love that
now,
one.
do you have a link for the merchandise that you have there at the house that's not on Pro Wrestling Tees? Do you have a link that they can go to, or can they just hit you up on Facebook or whatever?
Hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. It's Matt Turner OF. Just search under there. And if you want to see what I have, just let me know. I'll show you. I have if you want the blue and gold stuff, just go on Pro Wrestling Tees. There's also a Star Wars one as well. I don't think we have that on Pro Wrestling Tees, but I think I can get that one out to you as well. You know, if
Well,
you're interested in that.
what kind of layout of a Star Wars? Are you a Jedi, a Sith?
Me and Andy are Jedi's.
Oh, okay. I thought one would be the Mandalorian, the other one would be Goguru.
No, we came out with this. This was, I think, before the Mandalorian. I think this was like 3 years ago. I think it's right before that, right before it came out.
Yeah. So it's no secret. My man Matt Turner, he's a huge uh Japanese pro wrestling fan. He studies like a religion. And if you're a promoter out there watching this, and if you're not hip to the game, if you have not heard of Matt Turner until now, you know, you are sleeping, you've been living under a rock. Get at this gentleman, book him. He is dubbed well on that picture, it was the submission super beast, they called you. I don't know if that's what you called yourself when you filled it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big Rob Zombie. Well, you know, you've known me for a long time. So I'm very big into the Japanese striking and the submission. So the striking genius, and I'm a big Rob Zombie fan. So I did the submission super beast. So I just add those two things together.
Oh, that's sweet. So if y'all looking to get some top quality talent for your shows that can go, that will give you your money's worth, that will be on time, be respectful, and help the young kids that you might have in the locker room, even if it's not fully, but even just a little bit of advice. This is the man you want to talk to. He has knowledge, he has experience. Get in touch with Matt Turner. Book him on your shows without hesitation. You know, you won't regret it.
Thanks,
Matt,
man. Appreciate that.
I appreciate you coming on the show. I know it's late. We're grown ups. We got work to do. We got to support our, our lifestyles and our activities and hobbies and this and that. Any cheap plugs you got out there for yourself, either social media or whatever,
Well,
feel
plugged
free.
them out. I'm just gonna run through them again, guys. Hit me up
That's
on
fine.
Instagram or the Twitter. Just search Matt Turner OF. Any questions, comments, you want to book me, you want some T-shirts, let me know. And again, my podcast, The Stardom Cast. Check it out. Check it out. It's up on Facebook, I believe, Instagram, and I know it's definitely on Twitter. I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about Stardom. It's getting a lot of buzz the last few years. About a month or so ago, Stardom was in the Tokyo Dome. Absolutely stole the show. Any questions about that, hit me up, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. It doesn't cost you anything to listen to our podcast or ask me a question.
Now, this is the beginning of February, folks. We got the whole month of February. Where can these people see you at here in February or even March?
In March, I will be wrestling for ACPW over at the Super Crazy Gym in New
Okay.
Jersey. Yeah, so and I got a couple other things going in March and February. I'm just trying to lock down some dates, just trying to work out a few things. So as soon as those come available, I will blitz social media. I plug my stuff on that social
Yeah.
media, Chio.
Yeah. I will definitely be out there in Pro Wrestling Magic and Invictus, where you might be interested in coming to work. I don't know if you want to make the drive and just come out and check out the place, because sometimes, hey, you show up, somebody else doesn't make it, and you got a spot. Then you never know.
Always bring your gear. There's sometimes I'll be packing to go to the beach with my wife, and I'll start packing my gear. So what do you think's gonna happen? I said, you don't know. I might get booked in the ocean against Jaws.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Well, Matt, thank you for coming on once again. I appreciate it. You are a huge lifesaver. I did want to reach out to you before about one of our upcoming dates, but this day tonight came available because one of our other guests had to reschedule. So I said, you know what? Instead of trying to get you on a later date, let's see if we can get you on now. And you came through like a champ, and I appreciate it so much.
What a professional. Everyone should have on their show. And now, honestly, Chio, always good talking to you, brother. I've known you a long time. Anytime you want to do part two, part three, part four, you got my contact info. You just let me know what you need, brother.
Those other parts will probably most likely happen, but you know what? I'm gonna probably try to get our good friend Joey Image to tackle you on
Yes.
maybe on the next one. And
Yeah.
matter of fact, that these shows that's coming up that I told you about in New Jersey, the Sunday show, we're actually going to do a live broadcast from the building, which where we did a show from there before, and we're going to do it again. So if you come out, I'm actually going to get a room Saturday into Sunday. So if you come out and you want to come out to Saturday and Sunday show and you want to kick it there in the room, whatever, boom, and then you can jump on the podcast with us that very morning.
Hey, let's try to maybe get me booked on the show. Let's may as well, hey, if I'm coming out there, let's get the most bang for our buck.
Yeah, I can reach out to the promoters and see if there's any spots they got open up, what's going on, and we go from there.
Let's make it happen, brother.
Yeah, we'll try. And I know Joey is in good with the promoters as well. So if me and Joseph, I like to call him Joseph, if me and him can finagle our way and double teaming these promoters, pretty much they'll probably say yeah, because we'll just stay on their shit, and they'll get tired of hearing from us probably, and be like, okay, I just want you guys to shut the hell up. So
Yeah.
so that might work.
In that case, the first 2 rounds of beers are on me, brother.
Oh, I quit drinking though, but Joe's more than welcome to take my share.
He'll tell first 4 beers I'll buy you a soda and a water and a protein shake. How about that?
I can definitely work with that.
Yeah, all right.
And from the times we talked to each other in the past, now does this sound like a nice radio voice? Do I sound really professional? Do I sound really Caucasian to you?
You have a voice and a face for radio, brother.
That's what I've been told. That's what Mama said every time she fed me with a slingshot. All right, brother. Thank you for coming on once again. I appreciate it. I love you, man. You take care, and we'll try to get business working for all of us all around.
God bless, buddy. Good talking to you again. Be safe, man.
All right, thank you.
All right,
bye. Oh man. There you have it, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I want to thank once again for the submission Super Beast, Matt Turner, for jumping in here, saving the day for us here on the Body Slams podcast, Thursday Night Slam edition. Don't forget, this coming Sunday, we are going to be live with Breakfast and Body Slams at 11 a.m. with not just me, but the rest of our analyst, Mr. Joseph Image himself, Dennis Reaper. I hope it's his weekend or not. I don't know, but he'll probably be here most likely. the Better Bernard, the Saint Bernard, Mikey, and hopefully we get fixed the technical difficulties that we had with our man T Reyes, and he be on here as well. And if we're lucky, maybe someone will unplug the gobbler's phone from charging or whatever social media device he's using, just that way he doesn't chime in and try to heckle us, because with that being said, we will just heckle right back. He knows we will give it to him, brother. I'm begging you. But you know what? Tune into everybody on Devereaux Sports, the podcast shows, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you may find Devereaux Sports, as well as the Biaslance podcast. Go over to our .com. Link up to all of our social medias, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. Hit the like, share, follow, subscribe, and the notification button so you know when we are on live. Please, hands down, what I'm going to say is try to subscribe to our YouTube page. Try to start watching and chime in from our YouTube page. We want to build that platform up the best we can. We need the likes. We need the shares. We need the support. And one other thing, we know you people love to support us. And with us here at what we like to show is our t-shirts, which everything we sell goes back into the pot of us running the platforms and stuff. It pays for what we're doing here, and you're just showing much love and support back to us. The original Breakfast and Biaslance, well, this is the secondary Breakfast and Biaslance podcast tee. We also have the original one as well, the very first one we came out with. The shirt for tonight, Thursday Night Slam, very hot, very debonair. Look, it makes you look sexy, just like me. See, I'm a stud muffin. As well, our pop-up pipe bomb show happens anytime, anywhere, with anyone. Our OnlyFans parody, the Biaslance podcast, and our parody of the Run DMC shirt, BSP.com. Yeah, that's right. You don't want to miss out on none of them. You can simply go to the BiaslancePodcast.com. Go to our pod shop, and it'll take you over to Spring. And we have a whole host of other merchandise that's on there. And with that being said, I am Chio. This is another well-spent Thursday Night Slam. And we'll see you this Sunday for none other than Breakfast and Biaslams at 11 a.m. And you definitely don't want to miss out that. So everyone, take care. God bless and have a good night. Peace out.
This is how it's gonna be. This is what you think of me. It's going down like I told you. This is how it's gonna be. I'll be the last man standing here. I'm not going anywhere. It's going down like I told you. I'll be the last man standing here. I'm gonna rock you. I'm gonna rock you. I'm gonna rock you. I'll have you begging for mercy, oh.